trying to give up the Foxy nickname, preferring my real name of Nicholas, which I felt was more suited to a serious life in the city. "Well, well," said the policeman. "I won a few quid on you." I smiled. He'd probably lost a few quid too, but I wasn't going to say so. "Not riding today, then?" "No," I said. "Not for a long time." Had it really been 8 years, I thought, since I had last ridden in a race? In some ways it felt like only yesterday, but in others it was a lifetime away. The policeman wrote another line in his notebook. "So now you're a financial advisor?" "Yes." "Bit of a come-down, wouldn't you say?" I thought about replying that I believed it was better than being a policeman, but decided, in the end, that silence was probably the best policy. Anyway, I tended to agree with him. My whole life had been a bit of a come-down since those heady days of hurling myself over Aintree fences, with half a ton of horseflesh between my legs. "Who do you advise?" he asked. "Anyone who will pay me," I said, rather flippantly. "And Mr. Kovak?" "Him too," I said. "We both work for a firm of independent financial advisors in the city." "Here in Liverpool?" he asked. "No," I said. "The City of London." "Which firm?" "Lyall Black," I said. "Our offices are in Lombard Street." He wrote it down. "Can you think of any reason why anyone would want Mr. Kovak dead?" It was the question I'd been asking myself over and over again for the past 2 hours. "No," I said. "Absolutely not. Everyone liked Herb. He was always smiling and happy. He was the life and soul of any party." "How long did you say you have known him?" asked the detective. 5 years. We joined the firm at the same time. "I understand he was an American citizen." "Yes," I said. "He came from Louisville, in Kentucky. He used to go back to the States a couple of times a year." Everything was written down in the inspector's notebook. "Was he married?" "No." "Girlfriend?" "None that I knew of," I said. "Were you and he in a gay relationship?" The policeman asked in a deadpan tone of voice, his eyes still on his notes. "No," I said, equally deadpan. "I'll find out, you know," he said, looking up. "There's nothing to find out," I said. "I may have worked with Mr. Kovak, but I live with my girlfriend." "Where?" "Finchley," I said. "North London." I gave him my full address, and he wrote it down. "Was Mr. Kovak involved in a gay relationship with anyone else?" "What makes you think he was gay?" I asked. "No wife? No girlfriend? What else should I think?" "I have no reason to believe Herb was gay. In fact, I know he wasn't." "How do you know?" The policeman leaned towards me purposefully. I thought back to those rare occasions when Herb and I had spent any time together, sometimes in hotels, where we would be staying overnight at financial conferences. He had never made any sort of pass at me, and he had occasionally chatted up the local girls and then boasted about his conquests over breakfast. It was true that I'd never actually seen him in a sexual situation with a woman, but I hadn't seen him with a man either. "I just know," I said weakly. Said the inspector, clearly not believing me and making another note in his book. But did I really know? And did it matter? "What difference would it make anyway?" I asked. "Lots of murders have a sexual motive," said the detective. "Until we know differently, we have to explore every avenue." It was nearly dark before I was finally allowed to leave the racetrack, and it had also started raining. The courtesy shuttle service to the distant Park and Ride parking lot had long since ceased running, and I was cold, wet, and thoroughly fed up by the time I reached my Mercedes. But I sat for some while in the car before setting off, once more going over and over in my mind the events of the day. I had picked Herb up from his flat at Seymour Way in Hendon soon after 8 in the morning, and we had set off to Liverpool in great good humour. It was to be Herb's first trip to the Grand National, and he was uncharacteristically excited by the prospect. He had grown up in the shadow of the iconic twin spires of Churchill Downs racetrack, the venue of the Kentucky Derby, and spiritual home of all American thoroughbred racing. But he had always claimed that gambling on the horses had ruined